You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, live from the UK.
Shook up? Are you nervous? Sir, I am, sir! Do I make you nervous? Sir! Sir, what? Are you about to call me an asshole? Sir, no, sir!
Yes, soldiers of the night. Right, now then, I want to bring on my first guest today. He's one hell of a geezer, I'll tell you that now, and he's gonna probably tell you things that'll probably give you nightmares, but, you know, that's the way it is. Now, all right, I've got Davey back with me again now, guys. It's, anyway, Dave, this, what do you call it? Let me get your opinion on something. It was, this Mandela malarkey, right?
Yep.
Now, in my opinion, right, the guy, as far as I'm concerned, was a terrorist, right? Now, you've seen that, well, I think you picked up on it the other day. You were saying, do you remember Cameron? He was out and about with that T-shirt on, wasn't he?
That's it.
And it was on the internet, and I do believe that T-shirt he was wearing said something like "Hang Mandela."
It had a photograph. Yep, it had a photograph of Nelson Mandela. Hang Nelson Mandela. This was back in his university days. Him and a lot of his pals actually started the group and printed out the T-shirts. That's David Cameron for you. Now, we did hear the other week that he's trying to erase 10 years of internet history, but I think he's succeeded, mate, because that photograph now, the photograph's there, don't get me wrong, I can find that, but I can't find David Cameron holding up or wearing that T-shirt. It's been erased.
Yeah. Well, they've got rid of it somehow, haven't they? Over the years, they've got rid of it. Right, listen, I've got another fella in here now, right, and it's not just one of them. I've got both of them in the same room. Now, I've got to play this song for him, okay? You know the Laz, okay? This is the song that he wanted, so I'm going to play it.
You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, live from the UK.
Right, and here he is. That's his song he wanted playing. I have no idea what it is, but I'll let him explain that. Hello, Laz, how are you, mate?
All right, Chief, not bad. David's in here with us as well.
Yeah, we got Dave in with us. We've got a bit of a conference.
Bit of a menage tonight.
Yeah,
something like that. We'll keep our trousers on, though, eh? Or at least try to.
We're not in the same studio, so it's quite all right.
Don't encourage me to get naked, man. It's not a good sight.
No, all right then.
Turn the webcams off.
Yeah. So, Les,
yes, mate.
What's this South African business going on then? Because it's kicking off out there big time, isn't it?
Yeah, not that anyone will have heard about it. That's the problem.
Well, there's a surprise.
Yeah. Everybody's heard about the whole Nelson Mandela thing. I mean, it's been in the news. It's been all over the place. Yeah, no, Nelson Mandela's dead and one thing and another. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think anybody who knows what that guy was originally about will actually be glad of it. I know that's a fairly bold statement to make for some of the more sensitive people who are listening to this, but I have my reasons for it. You know what I'm like with my research.
Yeah. What's that, Dave?
Infallible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I also have a few South African friends and one thing and another, and trust me, since I started doing some digging, the numbers have increased significantly. There are several people listening to this tonight in South Africa, and I've actually been talking to a lot of them as well about what's going on. I mean, we're sitting here and we're complaining about government corruption and murder and rape and one thing and another that's going on in Europe, but you don't know half of it until you actually start digging into some of the stuff that's going on in South Africa. When I say that these people are living in fear, I mean that in the most profound level possible. They've got the highest murder and rape statistics in the world compared to the rest of the Western world. And I say Western world, and I use that lightly because in the last 20 years they have gone from a first world nation to a third world nation. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Okay, there's over the last 6 years of recording the annual decreases in murder, or at least recording an annual decrease. Now let's say it hasn't gone down to small numbers, it's just dropped a little. It was originally high in the first place. There's now a massive increase in the murder rate, especially since Nelson Mandela has passed away, shall we say, for want of a better way of putting it.
Yeah.
These people literally live in personal fortifications, is probably the best way of putting it. Now, I know you live down in London and you probably don't do this, but there are areas of this country and there are areas in the United States. We've got people who listen in Canada, Australia, New Zealand. We can leave, we will shut and we will lock our front doors, but the vast majority of the time we will leave our back door open in case anybody needs us, and they know that they can always, and Dave, don't laugh when I say this, they can always enter through the back door if they need to.
Yeah. Well,
But these people,
by the way.
these guys are literally living in forts. They're sleeping with their guns. They have weapons on the walls.
Well, it sounds like certain areas in the United States right now then, doesn't it? It's pretty similar then, because I know a lot of them do, you know.
Yeah.
Got one hand on their gun most of the time.
Well, it must be nice to have that sort of protection, and it's not something we've got over here. So, you know, if they've got, then
that's very
you've got
true.
to use it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, it's been largely banned here, but apart from sporting purposes, which are regulated as well. But there we go. This is a whole regulation thing, and you and me, Dave, we're going to have a word about regulations and corporations at some point in time, then, because I will blow your mind.
Definitely.
Anyway, you know, we've really got to start looking at at this whole situation. And while people are now looking at South Africa because of the whole Mandela thing, I'm hoping that it's going to start opening people's eyes to it. There were, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head right now. The police have recorded increases in the majority of violent crimes that South Africans fear. You know, you've got attempted murder and most categories of robbery. And robbery and murder invariably come together. When they have a crime, it's not one crime, it's invariably robbery, murder and rape. That sort of thing. There were 1,504 more attempted murders, over 4,500 aggravated robberies, 16,500 more burglaries since the same period last year. That means on average 45 people were murdered, 49 homes were attacked by armed gangs, and nearly 800 homes were burgled. It's no joke.
No. I mean, I do know that I think it was the anti-rape device was actually devised for South Africans, if I'm correct in that.
Yeah, I think they were. I think you were, actually. I did read that, yeah. I did read that somewhere. You're right there, Dave.
The thing is, a lot of the time, what they're tending to do, and it's mostly the farmers, because they live out in the country, you know, they've got all the farmers and all the land and all the fields around them. So they're actually, you know, relatively out of the way. They're not someone that can be protected that easily. I mean, the police response is probably going to be massively slow. I mean, these guys are literally at war. There's no other way of putting it.
Well, the point behind all of this anyway, Laz, is obviously the point you're getting to really is that it's not being reported anywhere.
No.
And it's being kept quiet yet again by our media, which are obviously paid for by somebody. So at the end of the day, when are you expecting it to be reported then? When the place literally goes up in smoke? Because I suppose that's when they won't be able to hide it, will they?
No, this is the thing. I mean, one of the things that I do want to address on this, though, is the whole concept of it being, quote, racism, unquote, and all the different scenarios that people have thrown about that in the past. Mm. Now, this isn't a race issue. A lot of it is down to a lot of the problems that the ANC, which is the Communist Party of South Africa, a lot of people don't mention the fact that it's the Communist Party of South Africa, but that's the reality of it. Mm. The only thing is they want equality for and between the, for want of a better way of putting it, for and between the blacks at the expense of the white settlers that are there and the people that inhabit. I mean, I use the word settlers. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, a lot of these people have been there for generations. They've been there for hundreds of years. It's not like it's a new thing. Hmm. Black people are killing white people. Black people are killing a lot of the Indian population. They're killing a lot of the coloureds in South Africa. Genocide Watch has gone from stage 6 to stage 8 on the genocide scale. You know, 7 is being full genocide and 8 is being denial. And they are. And the world is in a state of denial about this. Nobody is covering it. Nobody dare mention it. And a lot of it is, you know, I hate to say it, but a lot of it's down to us. It's our own ignorance on this. One of the questions that I was asked earlier on was, and I'll read this virtually verbatim. Quote, "We fought alongside the British in all their wars and the Brits don't support us. Margaret Thatcher labelled the ANC as terrorists and yet the Brits actively supported getting them into power. Why are the British so determined to turn their backs on people who supported them with their lives in all these wars? The Brits seem determined not to acknowledge the fact that we are in fact in a genocide situation. And why? Not a single British leader or any other world leader has ever spoken out against the deteriorating infrastructure, the crime situation, the hate speech and the anti-white speech coming from the ANC on a daily basis. And people in the and this is the general sort of feeling. Yeah. This is the general sort of idea that people over there have of us now, and they're getting the feeling that some of the British leaders are ashamed of their treacherous past with helping the ANC get back into power. That they're just trying to hide it.
So it's gone too far, basically, for the government to want to do anything about it, because you know we all know that they contradict themselves at every turn. As we were saying earlier with David Cameron and the Hang Nelson Mandela T-shirts and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. So we're now looking at the fact that South Africa's banging trouble. The news corporations won't report on it because they know that if they did, the uproar that would ensue would be too much for anyone to cope with. I mean, this is why everything's hidden from us on a daily basis to do with any news that is actually mainstream and should be shown to us and the whole world. This is the whole... You know, the TV, I've always said, is the most influential tool on the planet. The news lies
to weapon of mass distraction.
That's it. And what they want to do basically is show you Geordie Shore. I mean, come on, their parents must be really proud. Well done, MTV, for pimping my telly.
Yeah.
Well, the stupid thing, I mean, a lot of the time, our media relies on other people's media. You know, when news breaks in one country, one of our news stations will then pick up on it a few hours later or an hour later. I mean, it's getting faster, but even so.
But that's if they're allowed. That's if they're allowed to report on it. I mean, we already know that there was a bit of a block on the Lee Rigby trial, so we are literally given what's being picked and chosen for us to see.
Yeah, that was quite shocking. The original footage of that, wasn't it? That Lee Rigby thing. They
right.
cut out words and everything of what the bloke said until someone actually turned up with their own video of it. Do you remember? Somebody put out their own video of it, and then the BBC, I think it was, then had to turn around and show the whole thing.
That's it.
With the bits
we're getting edited versions of what's going on around the globe, be it Europe, South Africa, England, anywhere you like to see. We're getting edited versions by the corporations that wish us to believe that everything, quote, is hunky-dory, unquote. And we all know it's not hunky-dory. And we all know that the research, obviously, that the lads is doing, that you're doing, that I'm doing, that every patriot in the country at the moment, all the research that we're doing is showing us something completely different.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You see, right now, I know right now, we're concentrating on what's going on over here a lot, and one thing and another, and I'm glad about that, because I've got to be honest, as I say, a lot of our our other side of CPR, as you know, Dave, and Les, it's mainly in the States, and I know for a fact that they'll be listening, quite closely to what we're saying, because they're fearful of what goes on here, because they are worried that it's going to go there next, and it fucking will go there next.
But this is the problem, and this is why we need to start looking closer at South Africa, because what's happening in South Africa will happen here next.
Well,
They're ahead of us on this same line, this same subject, this same level. I mean, the ANC partners, the government, they are singing, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, and nothing happens to them. Yet if you manage to label someone in South Africa as a racist, they're on the news straight away, just for being labelled a racist.
It's all about a two-tier system. We've got a two-tier, this goes back to Asia being for the Asians, and every white country, every Western country being for everybody, I mean, and racist is a code word for anti-white, right? We tend to put up with the fact that we can have Asians, so to speak. No, I won't say Asians, I'm going to say Muslims. We've got Muslims attacking white people, and it's never ever classed as a hate crime. It's never classed as racism. If it was the same situation, but white men against Muslims, it's instantly racist.
They'd have a ball game with it.
Well,
they would have an absolute ball game.
Well, it's not. You can't, not being funny with you. It's a word made up by the governments and the corporations around the world to keep you quiet, keep you stum, and to stop you speaking out against what you know is wrong in your own country.
Absolutely.
And people are so scared, right? I'll tell you how scared they are. The BNP can't get a foothold. The BNP have got such a stigma attached to them because they're apparent racists, right? That nobody in their right mind, or I wouldn't say right mind, but no one would like that stigma attached to themselves to actually vote for the BNP. And I know they've got a massive, massive following. But, actually vote for the BNP is a no-no for any British person because they don't want to be labelled as a racist. And it's just you know what? It's a word. It doesn't mean anything to me. It means absolutely nothing to me. Because I know it was literally made up to keep us quiet. And that's that.
I will go down this route though, Davey. What I will say to you right now, what I will say to a lot of people, is you will find quite often that a lot of white people will say, "Oh, I'm not racist because I've got black friends. I'm not racist."
I've heard it so many times.
but the truth of the matter is, right? This is the truth of the matter, and this is the heart of the matter. I have black friends. I'm not racist. That's because of the whole definition of the word racist. It's people who are against a specific race. Exactly. We're not against a specific race. What we are against is a specific culture, a specific level of education and a different type of culture. Now, when you've got someone who has a completely different set of morals, different level of moral guidance, when you've got a set of people who have got a completely different education system or a complete lack of education, when you've got a group of people who are essentially brought up to hate and to want to kill and murder and rape anybody who doesn't follow the same book as them, any of these things, what you have got is a clash of cultures. Now, I'm quite happy to be a culturist, if you like. Don't label me a racist.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, I mean, it's the age-old issue. You know, I've heard so many people say it. You know, I've said it myself. I can't be a racist. I've got an half-caste stepson. You know, but it doesn't point to the fact that, like you say, the people that come over here with their different ideas, their different cultures. You know, I mean, for argument's sake, just a quick one. There was a Muslim guy that raped a young 13-year-old girl over here, and he went to court and he said, "Oh, sorry, I didn't realise that was the way you operate." I mean, come on, let's
yeah,
put
and
it
they say ignorance of the law is no defence.
Yeah, but
exactly.
you see,
the judge let him off, Les.
Yeah,
the judge let him off.
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Hang on, don't forget them two fuckers in court are going to use that as an excuse. Right.
Well, you know what? I was actually really worried about that, if we can just hit upon that for a second.
Yes,
I was really worried about that, because obviously, as Laz knows, we're all tied to a birth certificate, and you are part of the corporation. They wanted to use different names, known as fucking I am Ibba Barba Barba Bean Bean, right? So, you know, and to actually try someone under different names, it's not going to stick. I'm glad the judge threw it out, which he did do at the first convenient moment. They actually went down the mental health route, which was also, again, dismissed. This is why Abbott Saleh, at the moment, is not given any defence, because he knows there is no defence. These people have gone not guilty, and in a court of law have literally admitted to the fact that they tried to cut Lee Ripley's head off. You know, this is absolutely, it's a travesty that we've got to actually put money into a system to try these guys, and they should have just been found guilty on the evidence at hand. I mean, have you seen the people that are coming up with it was a false flag?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, are we living in the right land here? I mean, are these people fully awake? What's going on? Oh, did you see where the bus was? This guy here was laying down, and the police didn't tend to him quick enough. And these people with this, and look at this point here, and you got too much fucking time on your hand, my son. That man was fucking killed in broad daylight in the street.
Yeah.
You know, the 9/11 was a false flag. 7/7, everything's a false flag. It's all designed. You know, this again could be the corporations and the government throwing out these silly stories to try and take the facts off it, that maybe it was the government. What are you going to do about it? You know, nothing, because no one ever does fuck all about any of it.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the things, but one of the things I can tell you, and this is one of the realities, you know, you do have to, like I was saying earlier, we do need to look at South Africa to figure out what the hell is going to go on here, and if I have to press this and press it and press it and press it, I will do. Now, you know, you were talking about the whole sort of, you know, people letting, the judge letting someone off for raping a 13-year-old girl. If you think that's bad, one of the things I was told by a friend of mine in South Africa, who lived in South Africa for a while,
right,
was that, you know, this whole class of witch doctors, because they have witch doctors over there.
Yeah.
They still go around, and this is, you know, again, it's down to a level of education. But one of the cures for AIDS, as prescribed by a witch doctor, is to rape a virgin.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Now, to make sure that it's a virgin, what do? They rape children.
Oh, my God.
Just to make sure they've got a virgin.
That's fucking shocking, mate.
You know what? I actually saw a programme on a TV about the witch doctors. And about people being burnt in their homes for being witches and all sorts of. And when you look at it, you think, Jesus, you know, are these people that far behind the Western world that they can still? I mean, it's a big thing. Don't get me wrong. It's like a cult. It's like a following. It's like a way of life. It's like a religion for them. And witch hunting goes on a daily basis. That I do know.
Yeah.
You know. So I mean, you see now on the other end. Like we were just talking about the 13-year-old girl that was raped by a Muslim man who said he didn't know the rules. We've got witch hunters, witch doctors. We've got all this. You know, are these the sort of people that you want coming in to enrich your country?
Right.
You know, I mean, this is the fucking crux of the whole problem of Britain.
Yes, but if you're going to have, immigration, I would like to ask this: all the Afrikaans, all the descendant South Africans that migrated there from Europe to try and make a better life for themselves, that do have a work ethic, and trust me, these are some of the nicest, most polite people, and I know a couple of them, and I'm not kidding, they're the sort of person you would like to take home to meet your mother. They're some of the nicest, most polite people, and they've got morals much higher than even mine. They shock me with this.
You're right.
Why is everybody denying them any kind of visa? These people need political asylum.
Oh, come on. We've only got to look at Rwanda, mate. You know, we've only got to look over there to know that 1 million people were killed by machetes over a war between themselves again, over religion. And what did the United Nations do? They left them to it. Would that happen over in Muslimistan, for argument's sake? I mean, that's why we're over there now, isn't it?
Mm. All right, guys, listen. Let me pay some bills for a minute, and I can have a smoke, and we'll come back to this in a few minutes, folks, and we'll carry on this little chat with these two lovely people.
Right.
Hi, lads. We're back, and I'm enjoying this chat at the moment. We got the Laz, of course, and we've got Davey Boy with his definite great rhetoric, really. I love the fellow, I love both of them, and it's been real interesting for me. I've got to say, we're coming up to the last hour of my show, so I'm going to slip a few records in here and there. I don't know how much time these guys have got. Obviously they'll stay with me for a little bit longer yet. I will be handing over in an hour to I think Paul the Bulldog, I do believe, so which is a slight change of plan. I think there might be a few technical issues going on at the moment. I'll find out a little bit more and perhaps let you know. But anyway, we're going to go back to the chat for a while with the lads that we got here. As I say, Laz been talking about what's going on in South Africa, which is obviously vital to us over here in the UK. And then, obviously, what happens here in the UK is the knock-on effect into the United States. And don't forget, we've got Australia that's got the same problem. And, just about everywhere in the free Western world, really, we've got these problems. And anyway, guys, I'm going to hand it back with you. And, Laz, if you'd like to just carry on where you left off, mate, and get this message over so that people know in South Africa that we do know and we are finding out.
Well, this is it. I mean, I'm sort of inclined to quote Obi-Wan on this. I think everybody's watched Star Wars at one point in time or another.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah, it's since I found out what was happening in South Africa, it's like there was a disturbance in the force and millions of voices cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. We cannot let that happen.
Mm.
There's, you're talking about, as far as just the farmers are concerned, they've had more than 3,000 farmers killed since 1994. Okay, so why? And if our media picks up on their media and relays what they're getting through the media, etc., because that's their main way of dealing with how they get their reports and stuff. What we need to look at is why are the media hiding this in South Africa?
Yeah, exactly. Why?
Now, my personal opinion on this is that it's literally a case of if they actually broadcast it and they brought it out into the public, then the public, something in their moral system would have to kick in, and there would be some kind of throw up. Something would happen. The shit would hit the fan. Basically, it's going to have to.
Well, hang on, this ain't got anything to do with money by any chance, has it? Because don't forget,
of course it has.
We're spending £52 million a fucking day just to stay into Europe.
So of course it has. Let's have a little look then, right? Because from what you just said, Les, right? How many South Africans have we got living in England? Does anybody know? Because if anything happens over there, and for argument's sake we did get involved, what would be the outcry over here? If we've already got the Muslims doing it, do we need the South Africans do it as well? Is that what the government's plan is? Do the government want to keep it quiet in case we rile another set of people up?
Well, the problem with South Africa is they are the minority to a big degree. They are very much in the minority. And this is persecution of a minority group. You know, this actually is racism.
Fucking genocide, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Now, you know, you're looking at you're looking at a situation whereby, as I say, the media are covering it up. You have to remember that one of the major income factors, now you bring up money, for South Africa is their tourism. Right? They've got some of the most beautiful country out there. The weather's nice. They're not stuck on an island like we are, where we're at.
They've got no fucking oil, though, have they? Is that the reason?
Oh, yeah. There you go, see?
Right, now they do have diamond mines.
Oh,
now,
right.
I will point out that they do have diamond mines, and a lot of British people moved out there because, of course, the Cornish are miners. They're particularly good at mining. So the Cornish went out there because they've got the diamonds. They've also got gold mines out there. They have natural resources. They have all these natural resources, but of course, you've got to then take it to the next level. When you actually look at natural resources and you put that together with all the corporation stuff and one thing or another, gold and diamonds aren't a circulating debt system of IOUs, are they? They don't they've given up giving a fuck about it. They don't care.
Yeah.
And even if we did buy all these natural resources from them, of course it's a communist government. So who's the money going to go to? It's not going to go to the people.
Well, you know, we've given aid over, haven't we, to South Africa, and the current president spent 17.2 mil on his mansion.
That's right.
Yeah.
So as much as we're giving aid and trying to help countries out, and, you know, although we don't know about what's going on over there at the moment, and it's not until you told me, Les, that I actually know now. So, and that's because you're in a position where you actually know some South Africans that are telling you what's going on. So maybe, you know, to start digging a little deeper. I mean, if it's not on the internet, and it's nowhere to be found, and if we've got no links to show people, then we're literally, you know, barking at an empty fucking trough, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? Because no one's going to believe the fact that this is going on. You know, whether it be oil in Africa.
Here's some statistics for you. All right. Zuma, the president, has spent 215 million rand to upgrade the security of his own personal house in safe South Africa.
It's not that safe. They booed the shit out of him at the Nelson Mandela thing, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
he spent 275 million building a fucking road to his house. How the hell do you spend 275 million building a fucking road, building a fucking driveway?
Maybe it's got lots of roundabouts.
Yeah. Hey, you're not talking about Milton Keynes here.
Lots of roundabouts.
Look, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, right, we've Nelson Mandela's dead. I do see the fact that now the father, apparently, of South Africa has gone. It's all caution to the fucking wind. These people now, like you're stating, it's going to get a lot worse. If the media's attention isn't brought to the fact that this is going on and nobody knows, then everyone over there is going to be suffering. Like you know, I mean, fucking, what have we got to do, lads? What do you suggest?
My personal opinion on this one, right? I would say that the best thing to do is to go online. Go on your Facebook pages and go to South African Facebook pages. Go and look at Facebook pages like let me try and think of a few. I can't pronounce Afrikaans, unfortunately, but the guys on the Plaasmoorde pages and that sort of thing, there's no end of them, but there's a couple, and what I'll do is I'll post a couple of links later on, which give you access to some of the South African Facebook pages. Make some South African friends. Talk to some people. Get a modern day pen pal, if you like, in South Africa on Facebook. Because a lot of them, the vast majority of them, speak English. Don't be worried about not being able to talk to them, because they want people to know about this stuff. Well, in actual fact, no, I'll rephrase that. They need people to know about this stuff.
Yeah.
You see, I mean, this all comes down to the same point again. I think there's only, I think it's 3 corporations that run the whole news system across the planet. And if you don't need to see it, they won't show it. They'll brush it under the carpet, as they do with lots of other news that is proper newsworthy. I mean, you know, we've had so much going on over here in the last, I'd say, God almighty, since probably 2001, 2002, that we're only finding out about now. I'm seeing articles now that I didn't even know about. You know, one of my videos on YouTube was about the 2-tier system with some little boy. He was classed as a racist, and he fucking killed himself. I mean, you know, this is we live in a society where the whites don't matter. Every other ethnic community does, in whatever country they're living in across the globe. And like you're saying, if the attention can't be brought to the people where it needs to be brought to, then these people haven't got a fighting chance.
No. But this is it. I mean, what I will say is, now I'm going to spell this out because I can't pronounce it. So if you can get yourselves a pen and paper ready, and I will spell this out for you. I mean, I don't care if you type it into your cell phone, your mobile phone. I don't care if you scrape it into the back of your hand with the point of a compass like you used to do at school and then rub some biro ink into it.
Tattoo time.
Yeah. Right. Plaasmoorde. It's the first word. IS is AWERKLIKHEID. Or, in actual fact, replace the A with an apostrophe N, because I'm half translating Afrikaans into English. So it's Plaasmoorde is in werkelijkheid. That translates as farm murders is a reality. This is a South African site. I've been talking to them, and I've literally been told tonight that over 1,250 people in South Africa have seen the post that somebody in the Western world is listening.
Yeah.
Now, you tell me that's not a desperate situation.
Well, listen, I want to take a minute here just to mention as well the Aussies, right? Because they are going through this shit now, right?
It's actually worse over there, Steve, than it's over here, believe it or not.
Yeah. You know, we don't mention them too much, and I think it's time. It's high time we did, really. And I don't forget the Canadians and all. They've got the same crap. You know, there's no doubt this is going on, you know, in many countries. Okay, and what we've got to do is, I know it's difficult sometimes with what goes on in your own country and one thing and another, but we've got to try and highlight to everybody on our radio stations just how many countries this is going on in. You know, I know this South African thing is important at the moment, Les, and I understand, and we will brush on it again. We've got to highlight something at the moment, I think, and we, Les, with this South African thing going on right now, and we really do need to probably get this message out right now. So I'm gonna hand that over to you, mate, right now. Yeah,
no worries. I mean, one of the things that people have got to that people have got to realise, all the bleeding heart lefties that screamed about apartheid and one thing and another, they're not screaming about it now. Now there is a situation, and I mean, I've sort of brushed on this, but there is a situation where they literally have reverse apartheid in South Africa as it stands at the moment. They've got a thing called BEE, which is Black Economic Empowerment, and that's been going on for the last 20 years. You know, initially it was a good idea to try and sort of balance things up and one thing and another. And yeah, logistically it works. But what's actually happening now is they've got a scenario whereby white people are living in tin shacks. They are starving to death. They've got no electricity. They've got no water. They've got no food. They've got nothing because they're not allowed to have it because of the colour of their skin.
Yeah.
Okay? This is this is real. This is realistic apartheid. This is active racism.
So what you're saying is then, Les, is that they've got a benefit system and a welfare system over there only for the black people and not the whites?
Essentially, yes. That's the basic grassroots of it. I mean, you know, you're sitting in a situation whereby white people are worth nothing. It's a simple.
But they all, you know, white people, the white farmers, and everyone else are paying into the system, are they?
Yeah, everybody has to pay taxes.
But only the black people get the benefits.
Yep.
That's fucked up, mate.
That's pretty much the end of it. I mean,
well, look, we got to get some of this out on CPR in the sense on the perhaps maybe we can get some of this put out on the website itself.
Bringing you the very best hits from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
You're listening to Stephen Lang on CPR Worldwide Media, coming to you live from the UK.
All right, okay, lads, we're back. We've got about 10 minutes left of this chat. I need to let these guys have a final word on something because they want to get something out to you. So I'm going to basically hand it over to Laz and Dave. I don't know which one of you want to go first. You can fight that out amongst yourselves. And I'll just let them say their final piece because I think what they've got to say is a bit vitally important, actually. So carry on, lads.
no worries. Right, I do have to bring this up. I'm actually kind of, well, shocked and appalled is probably an understatement, but I've been getting messages on Facebook from someone who's going to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. I've been getting pictures and reports and things from people saying, you know, this person's gone missing, this person's been killed, images of the stuff that's been going on and reports of the things that are going on over there, and I'm absolutely, utterly shocked by it. And I've seen a lot of the stuff that's been coming from the Middle East, and I'm shocked by this. I'm just blown away by the level of violence. We're talking 5-month-old babies, and 66-year-olds and things like that. I'm not going to go into it. I'm not going to try and describe it because I think it's a little bit too much even for our audience. But if you've got a pen and paper handy from last time, I'm going to give you another link. It's www. And it's SouthAfricaTheRealIssues.org. But between South Africa the Real Issues is a hyphen, not an underscore, a hyphen. And I want people to go and have a look at that if they've got the stomach for it.
Les, do us a favour, mate. Copy and paste that into the thread, please, if you don't mind.
I will do.
Okay.
No problem, I will do.
Laz is going to send everything that he's got over to me, and I'm going to do a video. It's going to be a proper video this time, not me just having a rant. I'm going to try and use Vegas Pro to the best of my ability, and I'm going to do a bit of a narration to it, and I'm going to get something done on that. Give me a few days on that one. If you don't mind, I've got a few shouts at this particular moment in time. To Britain First for your fantastic fucking work yesterday with Andrew Chow.
Absolutely.
Out to the Real Patriots, the Christian Defence League, England Patriots, Save Your Country UK, immigration issues in the UK, the Australian Defence League, the English Volunteer Force, and there's only, I think, 2 more, Islam Exposed, the British Patriot Society, and the South East Coast Patriots. You're all doing an absolutely amazing job. I'm glad to be a part of it, and I will do all I can to further the cause.
Brilliant. I'll second that one.
Good, mate.
Yep.
Listen, thank you as well to you, CPR Radio, and to Stephen Lang. Again to Les. This has been absolutely fantastic tonight. If we could do this every night, this would be, and I know it takes a lot of time out of people's lives, but Motivate Radio, fm.co.uk. I do a rant show every Thursday. If you want to follow me, I do whatever on Facebook. Do that, and when the shows are on, I'm going to start doing more than one a week. I've got to do it now. It's I know now that the cause is a lot bigger than what I thought it was in the first place. Put it that way.
It's global. It's getting ridiculous. This is literally global. While I've been sitting here, I've had messages from 3 different continents. I've had, oh Christ, let me refresh this. 176 notifications.
Jesus.
I've had 27 different messages, and I don't know how the hell I'm going to put up with 27 new friend requests. To anybody who's actually out there who's listening to these things, the other thing that I'm starting to try and do, and I'm starting to try and put together, is a little sister site to CPR, which is GPR, and it's the Global Patriots Resource. Okay, I'm trying to find answers to these problems. I'm not going to sit there and bitch and complain. Everybody sits there and they bitch and they complain and they argue and they fight between themselves. I'm going to try and sit and concentrate on answers and try and get people to actually work together instead of fighting with each other and actually do something. The whole principle of it is to actually do something.
Are we talking legalities, Les?
We're talking any flaming means and ways I know that I am capable of.
Listen, you're better than me, mate. You're a little bit more well educated than I am. I'll give you that one. And whatever we can do, in all fairness, this is the start. This is a fucking good start, right? And if as many people are listening as what you think they are, and they're all around the globe, you need to get this fucking link out to this radio station for Stephen Lang's show every Saturday, and have a little listen in every now and again. Keep up to date. Join the CPR Media Network's website. And also the Facebook page. It's quite easily searched, CPR Media Network. And let's fucking do something here. Let's actually fucking do something.
Yeah.
Well, the trick is
everybody sits there, watches the TV and complains about it.
Well, this is it. But the trick is to get everybody together. If you can do that, there's thousands of us, and that's the thing. Then you become a force, and that's what you got to do.
That's the challenge, mate. That's the challenge.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's the only way. You can't have all this divide and conquer. You've got to try, and somebody has got to try and get all these people together. Because
you know what?
That's the way to do it.
The left will say it's not about immigration. You're being divided and conquered. You're having all the dairy taken off of you. This is not the way to do it, right? With the left don't know what's going on. They don't join the pages we join. They don't see the news we see. These people will be the last to wake up, and they will wonder why they were in a coma for so many years.
Yeah, that's right. And that's got to be done pretty soon, because if that's left too long, it'll be too late, Dave.
I know, mate. I know.
That's the problem. The clock is ticking.
The demographics actually speak for themselves at the moment. Across Europe and in England, we're not breeding as fast as the immigrants.
That's
we're
right.
not breeding as fast as the Muslims.
Yeah, you've got to have 2.11 to continue to sustain your.
I'm working on it. Personally, I've got 4 of the little bastards.
Yeah, but you're a yeah, but the trouble is you're a minority. Overall, it is 2.11, and in UK, yeah, that's just to sustain you. In the UK, we're actually only having on average 1.1.
Exactly,
and that's the problem. You know, but the Muslims are having up to 8.6. What does that tell you?
Right, and we're paying for all of that. We're paying for that.
Yeah,
right?
we're paying for it.
My last word will be this: bring the army back, get someone else into government, round them all up, fuck them off, and get England back to what it used to be, the fucking strongest country in the world.
Yeah. Well, definitely one of them. That's for fucking sure. You know,
well,
this country weren't called Great Britain for nothing. You know.
I will put a reservation on that. Get Britain back to being the greatest country again, but put people in power who have morals. Put people in power who actually know what the fuck they are talking about and what they're doing and what they're risking, and not sitting there saying, vote for me and I'll give you something for free.
Listen, you've got
to keep... Sucking corporations' cocks is what they're doing. They're sucking corporations' cocks and taking a big face full of shit to do what with? To fuck the whole of the population over. They're just sucking corporation cock, and it can't go on.
No, it's got to stop. Make your laws, make your legislation, but do it for bigger moral reasons. Do it because it means something, not because it's going to make you some more fucking money.
Exactly.
Jesus, I'm starting to sound like a cockney.
I'm brushing up on you, Les.
Right, listen, lads, I've got to bring this show to a close, unfortunately. It's been absolutely brilliant, and I thank you both very, very much for coming on, Dave, especially because your first time. Les, thank you again, mate, obviously, for your input tonight, and I've got to say, it's been great, but it's also been fucking disturbing. You know,
very Stephen, thank you for asking me to come on. Les, it's been a pleasure meeting you, my son, and talking to all of you lot. Thank you very much for tuning in.
You're always welcome.
Likewise.
Guys.
And I will say this, that people, there is something we can do. Contact people. Contact your government. Make friends on Facebook with South Africans. And actually learn what is happening. Listen to what's going on. And, you know, turn the TV off.
Yeah.
It's not going to help you. And seriously, make a friend with a South African, because if they know what's happening now, they know the secrets, they know the tricks, they know how to survive. They can probably teach you something for when the shit hits the fan over here, and trust me, it's coming.
Yeah.
Well said, Les.
Yeah. All right, lads, thank you very much. I'm going to just play a couple of things of probably a song, and I will hand it over to Paul the Bulldog, who is taking over after me. And once again, I love the pair of you. Thank you very much.
You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, live from the UK.
Good morning, Vietnam!
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.